Hey guys, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Not actually certain what happened or why. Not sure whose end that was on, but I tend to want to blame Adam just because that's in my nature. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to reintroduce everything. This is Adam. He is actually the founder and the promoter and all-around genius behind the gaming convention that used to be SoCal SmackDown, which is now called Ochre, taking place in Orange County, California. It is probably one of the most premier local gaming events going on right now. He's got a Kickstarter for it to help it fund, and he's going to go ahead and tell us a little bit about the whole, how the convention got started, how it's grown and changed, and where it's at now. And hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties. So Adam, feel free to go ahead and take the reins.
Thank you, man. So not sure what was heard last time, but Ogre taking place November 21st, 23rd, Anaheim, California, at the Wyndham Anaheim Garden Grove. This will be our first year's Ogre, but our fourth year as the convention. Started in 2010, 10, 11, and 12 as SmackDown. Great time, and then now took a year off, trying to find a hotel that gives everything we wanted. Enough space, free parking, good room rates, and I think we got it. So excited to try and do it again this year.
Okay, that's cool. So last year you guys were, or the year before, I'm sorry, last year you guys skipped a year. The year before you were at the convention center, which was really kind of cool. It was a lot of space, but the parking was terrible. It made overnight gaming virtually impossible.
The whole thing was a nightmare. I mean,
so hopefully with the hotel.
The whole thing was a nightmare. What with the parking, what with trying to find us on the third floor. I mean, it was a good time and we all had a great time, but the logistics of the 2012 SmackDown just was. It could have been better.
2012. Wow, it feels like a little. It feels like it was just last year that happened.
Time flies. Time flies.
Okay, so you guys are doing a Kickstarter this time. Why?
Because in the past we've tried to fund it by ourselves and get everything done with private funding between Henry, who's my partner, and myself. And this year we just can't afford to do that. The hotel is about the same amount of money, so we're paying about $14,000 for the hotel, $13,500 for the space, and it's just not realistic for us to pay out $13,000 hoping people can come. So this is our way of saying, hey, please come help, please support us. We want to do the convention, we'll do the work behind it, but we need to sell at least enough tickets to pay for the event.
Okay, so I've been keeping track of your Kickstarter periodically since it's been up, but one of the things that I've noticed is that you guys reached 0.25% funding, or just over that, within the first week or so. Is that correct?
About 5 days into it, we reached about 25%, and then we stopped, and then we flatlined.
And sorry.
No. I think day 6 was a hard day because we've been doing a steady up, and then all of a sudden people went, no, I don't want to support it anymore, and we lost over $1,000 of funding in one day.
Oh man.
So it's the Kickstarter life.
Yeah. I mean, Kickstarters tend to be very, it's kind of hard to tell what's going to fund successfully, what's not going to fund. I mean, the RoboCop statue hit $1 million in the first 2 days.
We need to offer potato salad.
And the potato salad thing is the next best thing. And the latest thing to fund over $1 million is that water balloon device thing where you just hook it to the hose and you got like 20 water balloons. So it's interesting, the nature. Kickstarter tends to be not very forgiving of conventions. I've seen some conventions have funded very well. I don't know how much research you guys did into it before you started the project, but some conventions fund very well immediately. Some conventions kind of peter out, and they kind of do like you guys have seen, where it's a bit of a flatline situation, and the funding kind of plateaus for a little while, but then like the last week and a half or so, it kind of just skyrockets to the top. And then there's those conventions that never really fund past the first couple $100. So I mean,
and we're hoping to do the skyrocketing at the end. I mean, we're putting our word out there. We're on Tabletop Gaming News. We're on Bell of Lost Souls. We're on the Privateer Press Forum. We're on Cool Mini or Not. We've got a lot of different places that we're posting about us, but to gain the Orange County Gamer to actually back us, or SoCal Gamer. I mean, not sure if you saw the last add-on of the Ogre figure, but that's a really cool add-on.
Yeah, I mean, your add-on and your pledge levels, I mean, they are very well thought out. They're very, very generous. The hotel ones are amazing. I don't know if you guys have been looking into these, but I've got the page up right now, and I mean, for $130, you get the hotel room for a night, and you get the badge for the convention for the weekend. I mean, that is amazing considering.
But you also get the T-shirt, you get the 2 reroll dice, you get the reroll marker. I mean, we're doing our best to give as much as possible. To say, hey, help us fund, please.
The reward levels are cool, and I remember the dice and the reroll markers from 2012, and those were always cool to have around, and I have kept mine, and every once in a while I pull them out of the box just to look at them. But no, I mean, they're very amazing. They're very generous pledge levels, guys, and I wish I wish you guys would look at these, because I mean, to get a shirt from a convention, you've got a shirt from a convention, and to get your convention badge on top of your hotel for that, for what the pledge levels are, is considerably generous and phenomenal that you guys were able to do that and put that package together. I was kind of curious when we were, you and I had discussed the Kickstarter for a while before you guys actually launched it and got it going, but I was very curious as to how you were going to handle the pledge levels. I mean, how did you guys go about deciding what your pledge levels were going to be and how to do the tiers?
We looked at what we needed to do to fund the convention. I mean, the realism is, on the pledge levels for the hotel rooms, we're not making any money, but we're at the same time we're getting enough money to pay for the hotel. I mean, there's absolutely zero margin of profit there for us. In fact, with the T-shirt and everything else, we're losing money because, I mean, we're paying the same thing that you would be for the night for $119. So technically, we're losing money on those, but yet we're getting enough money up front that we can pay for the hotel, which is what we're looking for. And then we know there'll be enough at-the-door people to continue to cover us so that we can break even. Again, in the last 3 conventions, Henry and I have not made profit from these. We've lost money on every one of them. And we're okay with that because we love doing it, we love the gamers, we love the Southern California gaming community. We would never start doing it for profit. Eventually that would be awesome to do and make money. We just can't afford to lose money anymore, which is where the Kickstarter came in, which I think is fair.
No, that's definitely true. And putting on a convention of this size, and I remember it was constantly gaming. I hadn't actually attended SmackDown until 2012, and that was my first experience with it. And you and I had met, I think, like 6 or 7 months before that. But I had never been to, I mean, I've been to conventions, comic book conventions, and anime conventions, and pretty much anything you can put a convention around I've attended. And it was one of those few events where people were there gaming as late as possible. I mean, there was pickup games of Cards Against Humanity. There was pickup games of Malifaux. There was, what was...
We do a Midnight Madness of Privateer Press.
I think I played my first game of War Machine there, which isn't a bad game. I haven't picked it up myself lately, but I have tried it out a couple times, and I think SmackDown was the very first time that I had actually played it. And there was, and that's, I think, was one of the biggest things that was there, is the miniatures gaming was huge at that convention.
Well, the thing about us is we're based around a miniatures convention. We're based around miniatures. When we started, the whole idea for it and why we took a 3-day weekend at the very beginning was we did it for War Machine Weekend, and we wanted a 2-day tournament. Now we've pared that down a little, so we don't need the 3-day weekend anymore. But I love conventions, so does Henry. And the reason we started the convention is because we love conventions, and we love the whole atmosphere of what they used to be and how the players are. And it's a 24-hour convention, too, which means that we never shut the doors. From the time that we open, which is right now at 4 o'clock on Friday, we're trying to make that actually 12 o'clock on Friday, until midnight on Sunday, there is gaming going on as long as somebody wants to game. The doors will never close. So if you want to play, there's somebody there to play with, hopefully.
So one of the things that we had that I had asked around, talking to different people in the various groups. You know how I remember a dozen or so gaming boards on Facebook. Um, and I'm part of the Privateer Press forums. I'm not super active there, but every once in a while I stop by to troll. It's what I do. But one of the things that people had been asking about, besides the miniatures gaming and the War Machine and the 40K events that you would be having, which I'm pretty certain that you're going to have those, um, what else is going to be going on there? I mean, are you guys going to do any panels? Is there going to be any demonstrations? Are there going to be any seminars? Anything that people can go and pick up some extra needed little tidbits of information to help them out with the hobby aspect of gaming, or is it going to be one of those things where it's just straight gaming and there's no side things to kind of distract people away from that?
Well, last year we did a little bit of panels. We didn't do a lot, or 2 years ago, I should say, 2012. This year, if the room isn't big enough to really do a lot of that, we do have some plans with Dr. Faust to do some painting clinics like we did before. We'd love if we hit, the goal was to hit the $25,000 Kickstarter mark for the add-on for the extra room, and if we do the extra room, then there'll be plenty of room for that, and then yes, we can do stuff. I've already talked to some people about getting some professional painters in there, getting some other people in there to do some gaming clinics, so learn how to game, learn what the industry's about, everything else. But we'd have to hit that 25,000 mark to really make that realistic, because the room just isn't big enough. At 15,000 square feet, that's our minimum needed for gaming. So with panels, that would be really tough.
I'd be cutting it close. Okay, so
we also have, don't forget that all the RPG stuff going on too. We're not doing a lot of typical card games this year, but we still have a great Pathfinder events going on. We have the D&D events going on. So Flames of War for historical miniatures, if you're interested in that. So there's a lot going on in that one small area. You've got your dealer room too in that area.
And the dealer room is probably the best at any convention. Is probably one of the best ways to get a deal throughout the year, guys. And coming towards the end of the year, when you guys do the convention in November, I'm pretty much going to guarantee you that the vendors will be willing to get rid of their merchandise and not have to haul that back just because the end of the year and the last quarter's coming up. So it's going to be like the choice convention to go and snag a deal at Ochre. So
hey, we just backed this. We got one new backer. Thank you.
It's always good to see. It's always fun to watch that number pick up. Every time I talk to Kickstarter guys, they're always like, they're watching it as we talk, and then they're always like, I got one more.
We live and die by those emails that come out like, hey, you got a new backer. Hey, somebody just left. Hey, you got a new backer. Hey, somebody just decreased their pledge. Hey, you got a new backer. Hey, I'm going to have an aneurysm and die. Hey, it's awesome.
I guarantee you guys, Adam won't die. I've tried killing him. He won't die. So, you have on the Kickstarter page, I had noticed some, I guess you'd call them partners or kind of, not sure.
Well, the ones that we have right now are the dedicated vendors in there.
That's right, the dealers. I'm sorry.
The dealers are already there, and I should probably pull up the page so I know exactly who's going to be there, so I don't insult anybody.
I can tell you right now, you got Anti Laser Cutting, you got Brooker's Hobbies, which always has a nice big size booth there. Badger Airbrushing is going to be there. Badger does some really good airbrush. They're always good with their customer service from what I've heard. I've heard really good things about the company, not a lot of bad things, but I guess it's a preference thing with those cases. Donkey, Wargamers Consortium. Am I missing any? Parallax?
Sorry, did you say Wargamma?
Yes.
Yeah, if anybody knows James, he's one of the coolest guys out there, and the miniatures that he makes and the terrain that he makes is just stellar. I mean, he's like the highlight of any convention he goes to. He's a really cool guy, and the stuff he makes is phenomenal. So, even if you don't buy him, you need to go see him.
His sculpts are pretty cool, and he's helped you with some sculpts, right? Or am I thinking of the?
No, the sculpting is from Dennis in Germany.
Oh, that's right. I apologize for that. Play It Painted's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Golden State Gaming Network's going to be there. So Wargamers Consortium is probably one of there, or are they just going to have a physical presence and be shooting some coverage for you?
I think they're just going to be shooting coverage. They'll usually share Badger's booth because they're usually associated with Badger, so they sit there. Les from Awesome Paint Job will be there. Chung will be there. I'm not sure if Aaron Lovejoy will be there or not. I know he was talking about coming, but I don't know if that's happening or not.
Well, speaking of the Wargamers, for those of you guys that have never had the chance to meet Chung or Les or any of those guys, it's a really good time. Those guys are very cool. They're very big on the painting scene. They're very good with the pro painters. If you want to become a pro painter and want to start networking and stuff, those are the guys that you talk to because they will tell you how to do it and how to be successful and avoid the headaches. But speaking of them, is there going to be a painting contest this year?
There is a painting contest this year. It's actually being sponsored by the WGC. So,
yeah. Okay, so that's always cool. And to get judged by those guys, because they always, it's one of my personal gripes because the quality that they hold their miniatures to versus me, where I just slap some paint on stuff, is super high, and it's intimidating me. It kind of irritates me. But to have your miniatures judged by members of that group is kind of cool. And it kind of makes you aspire to a higher standard when you're you're painting. I do have a gripe with you, though, Adam, about the last painting contest you had at the convention.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let me enter my primered minis. That was not cool. They were 2 shades of primer.
I didn't want to embarrass you because you suck.
I think it would have been the best priming ever.
Yeah, the best priming ever. You get the light on them just right. You actually get 3 colors. You get black, you get gray, and you get white lighting in there too. You did forget Play It Painted. It was just Octave. I'm just looking at the Kickstarter page, and then we just got somebody new called Arc Knight, ARC Knight, and they do. It sounds like they do gaming table tour, like maps for D&D adventures.
Oh, that's cool. Always looking into that kind of stuff. And Dye Laser Cutting is going to be there now. Now, for those of you guys that don't know Gabe, he's probably one of the sweetest guys you will ever know. When you put me and him together, you realize what kind of a bastard I am in real life. But he has so much amazing terrain, the laser cutting stuff and the tokens and all the components that he makes to kind of supplement our games that don't come with this cool stuff already. He is always willing to go out and talk to people and try and customize things for our needs. So the fact that he's going to be there and selling merchandise, hopefully, a lot of great terrain pieces, it's a really good experience, and it's always worth your while to go talk to him, find out what he's working on. And if this funds successfully, it is going to be a networking success for a lot of us that not only do the YouTube stuff, but we do the convention scene. Adam gets us all together, and a lot of us talk and we network and things. A lot of us do more than one convention. I know Octave and I, we do the conventions up in LA, up near LAX, and we do, Kingdom Con, and we do all the other conventions that go on, and this is kind of like going to be our wrap for the year, where we can kind of talk and plan our next series of events for next year. So haven't really got a whole lot of questions from you from the general public at large, Adam, which is one of 2 things. Either I'm super not getting anybody to watch, or we just waited too long to throw this up. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the usual questions that I ask people.
Okay.
And we're going to go from there. And these are usually, they're generally about the Kickstarter, but when you successfully fund the Kickstarter, what is the first thing that you guys are going to, the priority that you're going to have to take care of first, besides sending out all the thank you emails that go out and all that stuff?
Priority to me is to make sure that everybody who backed us at a level that the $35 and above gets the code so they can pre-register for their events that they want to register for that are already up online. That to me is number 1, making sure we take care of the people who took care of us, because that's always the way it should be.
And it's kind of hard for you to do that. I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off, Adam. I tend to do my thoughts tend to just fall out of my mouth sometimes. But a convention isn't a tangible thing that you can mail. That people receive it in a couple weeks or 6 months, or if you backed a recent Kickstarter that ended 3 years ago. You're just getting your stuff now. But it's
And it's my
how
stuff.
how is it? How do you? I'm trying to figure out how to word this correctly. How do you make people want to fund something that's a non-tangible, like a convention?
You got to sell the excitement. You got to sell the fact that, well, the thing about SmackDown is either you loved it or you hated it. And it's funny, all the rumors and suppositions I've heard over the last few days about what we did and didn't do and why we changed the name and everything else. But, I mean, you either sell the experience or you don't. And it's the experience you're really selling. Because at the end of the time, yes, you'll have dice no matter what you did. You'll have the reroll marker. And I think pretty much everybody at this point gets a T-shirt. So you're selling that, which is the tangible, of course. But then the intangible is excitement and the fun of going to a convention. And it's not just any convention. It's a convention that's open 24 hours. From the time we start to the time we close the doors, there's gaming there for you. There's people who want to game with you. Orange County gamers are awesome. And the fact that we like to game and we like different games, and it's cool. And that's the experience that you're selling. And if you're into that and you're into gaming and you want to meet new people and you want to play new games and you want to try things out and you want to be with people who love gaming, it's awesome. But that's what you've got to sell. And if it's not something that you're interested in or you're like, lately I've got, well, why should I back it now? Why not just buy tickets at the door like I did last year or 2 years ago? There is no door. If we do not fund, there is no convention. Period. So hopefully that answered the question.
No, definitely. Here is an interesting question. People have been asking me because apparently people know that that you and I talk regularly and stuff. So they're always asking me questions as if I'm you, and I never know how to answer because I'm always like, I don't know, what would Adam say? And it's usually something really funny. But one of the questions was about the pledge level for the $130 pledge level, where you're paying for the hotel and for the convention. What if two people, one person bought, they each bought that level, they each, supported that level, they pledged at that. Would they be able to share the room and just stack the days? Is that something that's a possibility?
So if two people bought the $130 room level.
They each bought one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, one could do Friday, one could do Saturday. And yeah, you could stack them. But we've only got 25 of those available. And we did that as the early buy-in. So, it's a sort of a thank you. If you're interested in this, buy in now. But the $300 level contains 2 room nights and 2 badges and everything else. So you're paying barely anything more, but you are paying a little bit more, but you do get your 2 room nights. But yes, you could definitely stack them if you're interested. There isn't going to be some sort of hotel Nazi coming up to your door saying, "Are you in there? How many of you were in there? Where did you sleep? And who are you sleeping with?"
If you don't come and knock on my door, Adam, I'm going to be upset if you're not knocking on my door at midnight asking to come in. Just me and you, bro.
So many things to ways to take that, my friend. Do I have to wear my furry outfit, or can I just come dressed normally?
As long as you wear the ears, you know how the ears work for me.
I've got the donkey ears from last year, from 2 years ago. They light up and everything. They're really cool.
The batteries still work on that. That's amazing.
Awesome. If you guys haven't played Donkey to Kick, by the way, it is like the stupidest, funnest game ever.
It is so simple, and it's the best.
Especially if you happen to be drunk at the time. Awesome. I'm losing your audio, buddy.
Losing my audio? I'm
Sorry.
touching.
It keeps going in and out. Okay, I hear you.
Okay, better. So one of the other things that I was going to ask you about is the events are coming up on the page. I've seen that the events are growing exponentially. Now, is that are you afraid that you're going to not have enough events covering the convention, or do you think you're gonna get by with the events that you got going? I know we had talked about organizing some magic stuff and some other events there. But
No, right now I have almost 20 events that I need to add to the site. And compared to where we were every other year, I think we're far and above more events than we already had. Um, and I don't think anybody, well, I'm sure somebody, that's a lie. Somebody will say there weren't enough events or there wasn't something that I want to do at this time or that time. But I think it's hard pressed to say that we don't have enough to do at the convention. We had, I think, the first year over 200 events. This year we've already got, I think, over 50 or 75, and we are 3 months out.
Wow.
August, September, October. Yeah, we're almost 4 months out right now. August, September. Yeah.
Cool. Just a heads up, guys. I will be there running some events with Jake.
Which I still need to put up on the site too.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and be running what's going to be called a Drunk Ball. It's a variant of Dread Ball. It's going to be an after-hours event, 21 and over. Going to be checking IDs, but it's going to be a good time. Jake worked really hard on the rules to make it fun for everybody and light on the rules. We're also going to be running Dread Ball events and some Dead Zone stuff there. So that's my own little plug there from SoCal Mantic. It's going to be there doing that. And we're going to be doing some Boss Monster and hopefully some Flux events. So speaking of Flux, that just got my next question lined up for me. How are you doing with contacting companies about getting them involved in this, the gaming companies? How is that going?
Everybody's right now in the middle of Gen Con, and Gen Con prep. So we've talked to a lot of different ones, the ones that we've talked to in the past. Some of them have already said yes, they're going to support us. Some of them who said contact us at Gen Con. I'm not sure right now, honestly. I mean, we always have prize support, but I just don't know what's going on at this moment with that.
Yeah. Are you going to go to Gen Con?
No, I won't be going there this year.
But
no. I wish I was.
What kind of corporate support are you hoping for besides things for events, for prizes, that kind of thing? What kind of, are you hoping for physical presence there, booths, or
not this year? I mean, I think we've got to rebuild. In 2012 we had a great year with a lot of sponsors, and I think that parking and, like you talked about, a lot of logistics kind of set us back a little bit, which is fair. We've grown every year. The first year we did 500. Second year we did 600. Last year, or 2012, we did 750. So we're still growing, but the year off hurt us, and the whole physical spacing hurt us. So it's tough. So I think this year is a good year to show what we can do. I think when the Kickstarter funds, it'll show that people care, and it'll be easier to get people out there. I know Mage Wars has already said they want to be here. They're trying to get their schedule done. We will probably not have a weird presence like we had the year before. I think that's going to be a lot harder to get this year. But I think there's going to be other people who are going to step up. So right now I'm not worried about it. And again, unless we have that dedicated other space at 25,000, our dealer room will be smaller this year, but that's okay.
Well, I think people are going to like the intimacy a little bit better of a smaller space than having. The convention center was great, but the space was, besides being a pain in the butt to get to after the long day and the night, hauling stuff back and forth, getting to the parking lot and
it was hell in a lot of ways. It was. Yeah. There's so many things that went wrong in 2012. It wasn't even funny. But we've learned a lesson, and I mean, there's nothing we could have done about it even if we wanted to. The Hilton put us there. That's where we were contracted at. The Hilton moved us. There's nothing we could have done other than pull the convention altogether. And that wasn't something we wanted to do. So the next thing is, hey, you know what? Take the space that you're offered and just do your best to make lemonade out of lemons. And we did our best. I think we probably got a lemonade filled with lemons. But we did our best.
It was a good convention. I mean, I had a good time. In retrospect, I mean the overwhelming size of the convention.
In retrospect, it was awesome. At the time, it sucked, but now it's awesome.
Well, no, I mean I had a good time, but the overwhelming size and scope of the convention center is a pain in the butt, especially if you're just trying to get to your car and to the convention center. I mean that is.
But the convention itself, I mean. it's funny because we had more people at it than we had in the last 2 years. But it seemed like nobody was there because the space was over 35,000 square feet. So you put that, which is more than double what we have now, but you put 750 people and 35,000 square feet, and it looks like there's like 7 people there. I mean, it just doesn't work right. I mean, the numbers and the people, just the space size, it just, you're like, hey, look, hey, I'm going to call somebody over there. Hey, how you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a space. But you just got my mind on another track. So you've got these really great backer support things going on. Your pledge levels, everything, all the different levels and the
I can't hear you.
well. So for this year with the convention when it funds, does this mean there's going to be a swag bag for Kickstarter supporters? Since there's going to be this cool merchandise.
You dropped out again. I'm sorry. Hello?
Is there going to be swag bags? Since
No.
there's going to be
The
so
swag
much
bag is what we've offered. I mean, there may be something we can get
for the
people to.
Kickstarter supporters. I mean, since there's these great add-ons, or is this going to be stuff that gets mailed out?
The swag bag, all the stuff that people have supported, like the dice and the T-shirts, hopefully the ogre, which is really, really cool. Those will all be given out at the convention.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, that's all your free stuff at the convention. Yeah, we didn't put postage or anything else in there, nor did we inflate the prices so that we could post it out to you. We want it. Everything we've done is with everybody in mind. Again, it wasn't to make the profit; it's just to get it funded so we can do it.
That's definitely cool.
I'm definitely willing to offer coleslaw. It's my mom's coleslaw. It was really good. There's some peanuts in there.
It's true, but it's been in your freezer for 2 years.
I'll make fresh coleslaw.
Okay, so let's jump ahead to the future now.
Okay.
Convention. Another Kickstarter, or are you going to try and just put the convention on itself and do it without the Kickstarter?
I'm sorry, you dropped out again in audio.
Oh, I'm getting this horrible lag all of a sudden. AT&T guys, Ubers, they lie to you when they sell you the package.
Don't buy the pack.
For this year after the convention's over and it's funded, are you guys going to do another Kickstarter for the following year, or are you going to try and just put the convention on as is?
It's a great question. I don't have an answer. I really don't. It depends on. The goal is always to have it funded enough that we can continue going. I mean, any business would say that. I mean, and eventually, at some point, it's not just a hobby. It needs to be a business. I mean, if we can fund enough that we can put enough away to say, hey, you know what? We've got our $13,000 extra in profit. Put that away, and next year we'll use that $13,000 to fund the hotel and don't care about anything else. That would definitely be the goal. That has not happened as of yet, or in any other year that we've had the convention. But I mean, if we had it funded so that there's $7,000 left over, and we weren't quite as worried, I think we'd be happy with that. If we fund to the point where we're losing money again, yes, we'd have to do another Kickstarter. Is that fair?
Definitely fair. So for this Kickstarter going on right now, what have you learned from this whole experience? I know from going into it to getting it ready to launch to this point where you're just waiting for the funding to come through. What have you learned?
It's pain. It really is pain. I mean, the amount of work that goes into a Kickstarter, which is not a complaint at all, it's just you hear from everybody how much work it is, and you're like, oh yeah, how hard can it really be? I mean, potato salad guy made what, $40-something thousand, and he just did potato salad. How hard can it really be? But making the video, trying to figure out pledge levels, and then every day trying to promote it, working with people, trying to get it out there, and then I think the one thing I have learned, if nothing else, is get a different email account and put your Kickstarter to that, so that way you're not feeling the pain every time that you read that email coming in.
It's that's good. Um, did you do the second email so you don't get that update all the time?
No, because I'm too much of a control freak and I need to see what's going on at all times. I think if I did it, I don't know what I would do different if I did it again. I mean, you know what? If we only asked for $5,000, we would have already funded. But it doesn't pay for what we needed to pay. So we're funding something that doesn't pay for what it needs to pay for. So is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't do the job. So it's sort of like buying a vacuum cleaner that only sucks half the time. I mean, yeah, you can afford the vacuum cleaner, but it's really not doing the job it needs to do.
It's true, and you need it to suck all the time.
It won't suck itself. Um,
So, how's the wife and the family support been on this? I know a lot of the Kickstarter guys, that's their biggest complaint is they're not getting, they're not getting that support at home. Some of the guys, their significant others don't get, why it's such a big deal to them, and they don't feel that support at home. But I mean, how's that going for you? I know
I have
this is a thing for you, so.
a great family, and they don't always get exactly what I'm doing, and they definitely, my wife is awesome, but she definitely doesn't get the nerd hobby, which is fair. And nor when we got married did she expect there to be so much of a nerd hobby. Um, but she does her best, and I think that's all I can ask for.
That's always it's important to know that people are supporting you. And what about in the community, the local scene? I know that you hang out at some of the local shops. How's that support going from the gamers at those stores and the shop owners?
Everybody seems really cool. I mean, everybody remembers SoCal SmackDown, and they enjoyed it. And so everybody has said that. I mean, there's always the people who didn't have a good time, who felt so. In 2012, we had a privateer press tournament, and we charged a little bit extra for it because we're giving away a 50-point army. The number of people who entered the event did not pay for the 50-point army, but people were upset because we charged an extra $10 for the event. Um, so there's people who go, well, you guys suck because you charge extra. But people don't understand how much it costs to put on a convention, and it's not like prize support's just given to us or anything else. It's just like anything else. It's not like you go to a store and say, hey, I want that army, just give it to me. There's money involved. So there's people who like us, there's people who don't. And that's fair, and I understand their point of view. I just don't know what I could do about it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we put on events and things, and we do different tournaments. People don't get that there's a cost associated with us doing the events. They assume that the companies are just giving us money and prizes and stuff and whatever to give away. But a lot of times we're funding not only the event, but the time, to get the gas money to get there. The price support comes out of pocket. The materials and supplies to put on the event come out of pocket. So I totally get where you're coming from with people being upset over that kind of stuff. I mean, I hate charging for events, but every once in a while I've got to, just to offset my costs, because it's not that I'm making a profit on it, but I'm literally, when I get in that car and turn it on to go to a convention or an event at a store, I'm losing money the second I turn that car on and head that way, because of the amount of time and effort that goes into putting that together. So a lot of people that don't understand that. That's why we have to charge.
I mean, it'd be nice to say, yes, we do it for the money. The money's not there in the convention. I mean, it's not like anybody's looking at going, wow, look at all this profit you made. There is no profit. All we're trying to do at this point is break even and continue to build for a better convention in the future. We're not Gen Con, we're not Adepticon, we're not any of those bigger conventions. We're just like, hey, over here at GW, give us prize support. They look at us and go, who are you again? Magic doesn't support us. We supported, 3 really large tournaments for Magic last year. Didn't really matter, or 2 years ago. I still think the last convention when I say last year. So I understand people saying, I just paid for a convention, why should I pay for your event too? The prizes that we're giving equaled the money that we asked. And again, we lost money on it, we didn't make money, and I'm not saying boo-hoo me, but those are the facts.
So, one of the things everyone was wondering and asking about is why November? Why the end of the year when most people's convention season ends in September-ish?
We tried to find a weekend that didn't conflict with anybody else. That was one of the big reasons. We looked for hotel availability. Again, we looked for hotel availability. We looked for space, free parking, convenience to things around us. We wanted to stick in the Anaheim area because it's central to LA, Orange County, San Diego, Riverside. So that's really the hub of where we wanted to be. So when you look at where we want to be and when it was, then we had to look for the other conveniences and when they had availability. November was the best shot for us to have there. Unless we could have gone September, again, which then we conflict with the other conventions, which we did our first few years because we needed a 3-day convention. We don't need a 3-day convention anymore, or 4-day convention. We didn't need to compete with somebody, nor did we want to. So that's why we moved, and November was the best date of those possible. So the last convention of the year, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, which is a good time. And then for a lot of people, this year's been a little off for me for my conventions. I haven't done quite as many as I normally do, but my convention season typically ends in November-ish anyway, which is perfect because I can end it with your convention, which would be great. It's kind of like homecoming. And then it picks up again in January, so I get a month off in December, which is great. But it's kind of nice that it is the kind of the way to end your year on a good note, especially locally, guys. We have so much. I don't think people realize, they take for granted that Southern California has so much going on, except for our community, the gaming community. Yeah, we can go to a shop whenever, but how often do you get together with your buddies from LA and San Diego at the same time, or your buddies from the Inland Empire all at the same time at the same weekend, which is what happens with this convention. It is so centrally located. People don't mind taking the 30-minute drive, 45 minutes in some cases, to come down and get together with your friends that you don't really see and play those games of, whoa, wow, the flowers. See, I scared the camera. I'm too pretty. But, I mean, how often do we get together with those people that we see rarely, that our wives don't really like or appreciate? And because, not that our wives hate our friends, but you've met them. So, I mean, when do we get together like that? And we can go to a store whenever, but getting to get together for a weekend for 24 hours of nonstop gaming to get that game in of War Machine or 40K or Fantasy, or try a new game. Relic Knights just came out, and I know that's going to be at the convention, and all these other games that people are wanting to try and participate in. Why not do it all at once? And we take for granted in this area.
There's usually demos too, which is nice. I mean, the nice thing about what we did 2 years ago is we did Demo Row, and hopefully we're going to be able to do that again. Or it's just the ability for people to go from table to table to table to try out different games. So, I always want to try out Relic Knights. Hey, well, here's somebody who can give you a Relic Knights demo. Hey, here's Privateer. Ooh, I really want to try that. 40K Fantasy for Warhammer. Ooh, look, that's what it is, and this is the difference. Yes. Dude, nice ceiling. It gives people the ability to do different things at the same time. So you're coming, and the people are like, well, why do I want to do this, and why not just go stay home? Well, you can stay home, or you can game with your people you normally game with, but you're not expanding your horizons. You're not seeing what other games are out there. And that's what a convention does. And especially at 2 in the morning when you're wandering around the game hall and you're like, ooh, Cards Against Humanity, I've always heard of that. Let's see what it's like. Hey, look, there's Drunk Malifaux in the corner. What's going on over there? Jake? Doing that. So, it's cool.
Yeah, and I just, you guys, we need to take advantage of things like this, because events like this are literally few and far between. There are very few gaming conventions in the Orange County area. Let's face it. I mean, we got to go to San Diego or LAX if we want to have a gaming convention or gaming experience with our friends for a weekend. So the fact that somebody is willing to put one on in our area for us is phenomenal, and it's something that we need to support and back and make sure that we have access to year round. We need to make sure that we are able to get there and be there and support it and see each other. I mean, I look forward to seeing my buddies and my friends that I don't get to game with. My weekends are always kind of shot. So when the guys get together on Sundays over at in Montclair or they go to CQ, I don't get to see them. I get to miss out. So my weekends with them are few and far between. But if I can get a weekend in with them and I'm gaming, shoot, man, I'll tell you what, I'll take that anytime. Especially in Anaheim. The hotel is right around the corner from me, and I still plan on getting a room there because I plan on enjoying myself and not having to worry about coming home. My wife does.
20 feet away from the convention.
Yeah, there's the other thing. So this hotel, are they're treating you guys good so far, doing all the right things, answering all the right questions?
Yeah, and the fact that they've got food, like literally, the entrance to the convention is right here. You walk down a hallway. You don't. It's all one story, so you're not having to go like up and down levels. It's all one thing. So you walk out of the convention room. You walk 20 feet, 30 feet. There's the bar on your left-hand side, right next to the bathrooms. Thankfully, you walk back into the room. There's no limitation on what we can and can't do. The convention center 2 years ago, because it's a public-owned event or private-owned, city-owned, whatever it is, they were very strict on alcohol, very strict about the security guards will be here, and we will shut down your convention if you do this. And they don't care. The hotel is much cooler about that. We don't want alcohol in there before 7 p.m. because it's still a family event. But after 7, you can do pretty much whatever you want to, and as long as you don't get stupid, and nobody's going to have a complaint with it.
Drunk ball is gonna happen.
If it funds.
It'll fun, dude. I promise you, this thing will fun. Kickstarter she is a fickle woman, and she will, if you do things right and make her happy and please her in all the right ways, she will make you happy and please you in all the right ways.
Yeah.
Until you get married to her, and then those ways stop.
I got no comment. I love you, Henry. You're the best.
All right, so we are going on, let's see, how far into this are we? This is a good talk we're having, but we are going on just under 50 minutes, so let's go ahead and start wrapping up and get our final thoughts in.
So, I guess if I had a final thought, it would just be, thank you guys for the support that you've given us over the years. Thank you for continuing to support us. Please make this happen, because if it doesn't fund, it won't. So, I really want to have the convention. I was depressed as all hell last year when it didn't happen. So, thank you.
So guys, I pretty much have given you my thoughts and my feelings on this. I love supporting and seeing local Kickstarters get funded and supported and watching them go above and beyond their funding goals. This one is personal to me though, for several reasons. Adam's a good personal friend of mine. He's been there through me through tight spots and given me some help personally. Also, this convention has helped me generate and create a lot of lasting, real friendships, genuine friendships, and with people that not only do we get together and game with, but we just talk and we shoot the bull and we get to know each other, and we've grown closer than beyond just I'm going to see you on Thursday, we're going to game, and then that's the end of our relationship. So it's a personal thing for me. It's a convention that I hadn't known about and gone to, and I went to it, and all the things and the events that transpired that weekend were all good. The entire convention was great. The events were amazing. The guys that were running stuff, got to see how a lot of guys run their events at conventions like this, and to see the amount of people that were willing to go and spend insanely large amounts of time walking almost from a mile away in some cases, to get to the convention center just to go game is amazing. And if you guys have never been to a gaming convention, before, I guarantee you this will be worth it for you. You don't have to pack up all your stuff. You don't have to take anything if you don't want to, but take yourself. Take a good mindset, a good, you know, just a good focus that you're going to have a good time, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to meet some people, and possibly make some friendships that are going to last and stick with you and expand your network of gaming friends. So let's fund this thing, guys. Let's make sure that this convention happens. Let's make sure that this convention doesn't go away because Orange County needs it. Orange County deserves it, and it's the convention that we need to make sure is around for us, especially with those of us that are growing and doing more with gaming and trying to become better and more involved in the actual product instead of just playing it. So, unless Adam, unless you got anything else, that's all I got.
Thanks, Billy. I really appreciate your time and appreciate you having me on.
All right, guys.
It'd be great to have the convention in Orange County. I mean, the convention in LA is great. The convention in San Diego is absolutely awesome, and Ross does a phenomenal job. But it's not Orange County. I mean, that's the thing. It's not Orange County. I mean, and I think we deserve our own convention. We deserve a football team, and we deserve a convention. But mainly a convention. But Ross does an amazing job. So if anybody hasn't been to Kingdom Con, they really should go.
It's true. I mean, the Kingdom Con is a great con, guys, but it's not behind the orange curtain. We need our convention. We need our convention to happen, and we need to go to our convention. We need to support our convention. If it's your first time to a convention, that's the one you got to go to.
Thank you, Billy.
No problem. Thank you, Adam. So, guys, happy gaming, and may the dice always roll in your favor, and I'll see you in Orange County, in Anaheim, at Oker.